This is definitely a show closer.
Mhm.
So TC Carson, the original voice of Kratos, shows up here to announce God of War Trilogy Remake.
Here's a question.
Yes.
Why is he not just running all of State of Play?
TC Carson.
He's like the most
Well,
interesting person in the entire State of Play, like outright trailers, the whole thing. They just
well,
have him do he's just be the host of all of them.
well, I don't think you can just have TC Carson open the thing without the announcement as well. So I think you kind of have to stick him near the God of War announcement. And if it's a show
I
closer,
mean, just
he
like in the
doesn't show up.
future. The future,
And
you know.
I would totally be behind TC Carson voicing every State of Play from this point on. That would be hype as hell. Not to, throw shade at like Sid Schumann or Kristen Zatani or Ben or what's her name?
Yeah, but if you had TC Carson do it, it wouldn't sound like shade. They'd be like, okay, thanks, Carson. Thanks, Mr. Carson.
Well, I'm saying, like, not to kick all the other SI presenters out, but I mean, yeah, I would take TC. So they didn't show anything of this. This is very much an early, like, hey, we want to put this out there, but don't bother us kind of thing. Apparently it's in-house at Santa Monica.
Okay.
Somebody's got to be helping them. I mean, games do a lot of outsourcing, but they only put Santa Monica on this for the studios. But they said early development. They ask for patience. It'll be a while until there's more information. But they say when there is more, they want to show a lot. My read here is a minimum year, 2 years, maybe two, like within 2 something years, they'll show like a very substantial amount of footage.
I think this is do you think it's possible this is a PS6 launch first year title then, and PS5 like cross gen?
I mean, yeah, but I think that kind of goes without saying for anything that's like in development now, right?
Here's my other thing. The way they presented it was interesting. God of War Trilogy Remake, right? That's obviously, I think that's a code name, obviously. That's not the actual title. We figure they'll call it something else. Do you think these are 3 separate games?
No, I don't think so.
Do you think they're Final Fantasy VII remaking this thing a bit to where I mean that reverse, I should say, from where that they split it into 3? Do you think they mash these 3 games together and it's one game?
I could see I think at this point there's a lot of speculation on how they do it. Because, well, one, I didn't think they were remaking these games.
No, I thought this would have been a remaster situation.
And I think that's the right call. If there's anything to remake, it is the first 2 games, and sure, the third as well. 3 doesn't really need it, but also, like, we're at this point in the game where a lot of publishers are remaking PS3 360 games. They don't feel that old, but, hindsight's everything. Like, some of these games are creeping up on 15 years old.
Is God of War 3 that's 15 years old?
Yeah, because it came out in 2010.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, yeah, they've got high frame rate, high res versions on PS4, but with high res textures and ray tracing, like, obviously, God of War 3 can look fucking beautiful if you remake it. I didn't think we were getting remakes, but hell yeah, God of War 1 and 2. I mean, God of War 1 is short. It's a short game.
Yeah.
I don't think if you're selling that game a la carte, you're not doing it for 60. I don't think, but it is SIE. I think the right path here is doing a big bundle, one game, and maybe try to make it seamless.
I think so. They can't call it God of War. We already have God of War.
I mean, it seemed very deliberate with, the teaser they put out was 1, 2, 3 trilogy.
Yep.
The read to me is like that's a package.
Yep. Yeah. That's what I thought too. That's interesting approach though, because I mean, God of War going and right into 2 and 3, like it could all flow together well, and they set it up. I don't know, they cut some stuff out, merge some things together, add more context in certain spots. So I think remake is the right term because I think they're gonna, I guess, rephrase certain parts as well into one, so it's all just one game, one long running entry here. So yeah, I like it though. What a great idea.
Well, that's the thing. We have no idea what kind of liberties they may or may not take.
Right.
It could be a remake like Demon Souls, where it is the same goddamn game. Like it's mechanically the same game too. Or they take some liberties and they will make some refinements and maybe adjust the pacing of certain things. We have no clue what direction they're going in.
But you think it's still the same camera angle and everything?
Oh, you're not that's not a remake. Isometric viewpoints for 1 and
Okay.
2 and 3.
Okay, I'm just making sure. Just making sure.
I think so. Yeah. Would you think otherwise, or?
I feel like you have to leave it isometric, but I'm also not the one fronting the bill for this. And they're like, well, look what these God of War games did, where we went to shoulder level, and you know what I mean?
I mean, I think if you do over the shoulder, you're making different games. Just
Yeah.
like everything about them is different. I mean,
You're remaking them.
isometric. Well, it's like yeah, true. Well, isometric games are also like designed in a very specific way.
That's
Because
true.
the camera's fully controlled. That you can't over the shoulder completely warps the whole thing. You're like not even remaking it. That you're making a new game.
This also seems like a great idea for God of War right now, because I think a lot of people are also trying to figure out what would even be next for the franchise. And now you have this remake that's most people are just going to be looking forward to. So it gives them a little bit of time to work out what would be the next big entry for God of War after this. And who knows where, also depends on what Cory Barlog's game is exactly. Is it something in the God of War universe? Is it something completely different that'll blindside us a bit? We still have to get that figured out. So missing some information there. Bit of a blind spot on that one.
Mm-hmm. So they announced the trilogy, which that was the surprising thing.
Yes.
The unsurprising thing, which TC Carson said it was a surprise, is God of War Sons of Sparta. This, ladies and gentlemen, is our 2D, not 2.5D. Did not expect the art presentation of this game, but it's a 2D action platformer, and it's a story focusing on young Kratos with his brother Deimos, and it's out now, which SIE doesn't really do. We don't really get shadow drops from SIE. And as me and John said at the top of the show, we did get about 15 to 20 minutes in on the game.
Yeah. I wanted to play more of it, but it was just cutting it close. So I got to the first campsite area, which you fight a Cyclops in the beginning to start up. And, seeing it in the trailer, the way it looked, and then now seeing it in person on the big OLED, it looks better than what it was presented. I will say that. The art style threw me off. I was not expecting that art style, and it's like the the pixel art 2D style, and I think it threw me off because I was expecting. I'm trying to think of a good way to phrase it, because I want to say something higher quality. Maybe something closer to like Prince of Persia: Lost Crown, where you could tell it's 3D. You can tell it's 3D models on a 2D plane so that they can swing the camera around as they need to for that 2.5D look. Maybe I was kind of thinking it would have been more like PS2 Kratos, just like newer technology and stuff for it. That's kind of what I was envisioning. Not here's very, very young Kratos and he's using a spear and running around as like basically, teenager almost,
Yeah, it definitely threw me off. I like it a lot.
I mean, I've played 15 minutes or so, but it's it controls better than I was thinking. It kind of looked a little floaty in the trailer, but so far it's controlled well, I think.
Well, I like the art style. I like more than because I was expecting what you were expecting. To me, this was a pleasant surprise, if only because like it's so uncharacteristically God of War. That's not typically what we expect from the franchise, and I don't know. Maybe it's just more of a wanting something refreshing kind of thing. But I was like, "Oh, you're going like for a pixel look." Like, oh, all right, cool. Like I'm fine with that. The first 20 something minutes I played, I will say I didn't care for the traversal. It doesn't feel very like snap. Like some Metrovanias like that's everything is like moving around that map.
Yeah.
And right off the bat, I didn't really love that. It seemed a little bit too clunky to like get over ledges and hop over a ledge. I mean, you can only jump right now. I took a look at like the skill tree real quick, and maybe as that builds out, because that's
is there a double jump in there?
I don't know. I don't know yet. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing with Metroidvanias is that you're not going to be able to get something the first time. You're always backtracking and using what you've unlocked. So it might get more refined. My initial thought was that it feels kind of clunky to get around, and combat's obviously very basic too. But I can't speak on that till you unlock more things.
We need more weapons or
Yeah.
abilities. It's good. Yeah, like right now I'm just poking things with a spear. Although I get to get a quick glimpse at some of the customization for weapons, and it looks like you're gonna just upgrade different parts of your spear right now. But then it also looks like there are slots for more weapons, other spears maybe. So it's a lot of questions there on that. But first, immediate like 15-minute impressions. I'm hopeful for the game.
Mhm.
I think it's cool just to have this kind of approach in the God of War franchise, where normally it'd be like, no, we got to go for super high production, 3D, top tier visuals, and this is I just a more refined game. But it's also something that I've kind of hoped that some of these big publishers and studios would try, not necessarily going for the $300 million project every time, doing something a little smaller and then pricing it accordingly. I know some people had some whiplash because it was $30, and I get it because it's again, you can see how people are probably thinking it's a $20 game, $15 game. But it's technically in a world of $70 games at $30, it feels cheaper than, or probably about the same as what 20 or 25 felt when the $60 game was consistent.
No, I think you're exactly right. I 100% agree, and that maybe that's the other part of why I like the presentation a lot. Like, it actually felt like the whiplash for me when I launched the game was seeing the PlayStation Studios intro, and every game has every PS Studio game has the logo animation, and within the animation sweeping through of the PlayStation buttons forming, you see that particular game. Like
Mhm.
animation, you know what I'm talking about, John?
Mhm.
And it like the whiplash for me was seeing like a pixel art looking game in that animation, and that felt deeply refreshing to me because PlayStation Studios is so synonymous now with like AAA nine-figure epics, and I love those games, but like this felt like a sort of breath of fresh air of like I totally want to see them do more stuff like this with their other IP. And the best way to do that is finding other talent. So like this is a PS Studios game, sure. It's developed by Mega Cat Studios, kind of out of left field because they've been around for a while. They're a very small team out of Pittsburgh. It's like 30 something staff. They've done a handful of smaller projects, but it's like they've sort of proven themselves. And I think that's the great thing that SI can do. Find some of these smaller teams and fit in these niche storytelling vehicles and very different kinds of gameplay. That's why I'm so into this so far. Even if initially I'm kind of clunky on the traversal.
That feels very Yoshida coded.
Yeah, it definitely harkens back to an older way for PlayStation to make games. So I'm all for it.
This is funny. Where's the oh it says where's the Switch version? That was a rumor going into this, is that there was a potential multi-platform release for this game.
Yeah.
And you know what? I will say this, Ryan, when I first saw it, they showed it, I said, "Ooh, that actually might be multi-platform." That kind of looks like a game they're going to drop on the Switch right now.
Yeah, that rumor was from Nate. He said he heard about it like last year, basically.
It
That
could
was
be
the
multi-platform.
rumblings.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's the thing, like, would you do you think this would because this sounds very much like a Lego Horizon situation.
Yeah,
If
I
it was
don't know. Would
if it
anyone
was
really mind?
I mean, if it was like PC and Switch too, I think, and like it comes like much later or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems to make sense to me. I mean, it's just a tough environment. These games got to make money, so I think that's maybe a way to do it.
Yeah, because I'm looking at this and I mean, I know it says God of War. It doesn't scream God of War at you. When you see it, you're like, oh, okay, it's early days for Kratos, and he's not running around with the dual chains ripping people in half and stuff. It's I mean, I think it's even teen rated. Am I wrong?
Oh, I didn't check the rating.
I feel like it might be. I had to double check, but I mean, so far you're stabbed a Cyclops. You haven't done anything too crazy, but what I'm saying is it's a more refined God of War game that would work well, I think, on multiple platforms like PC. I mean, this is a Metroidvania game. Metroidvanias clearly work well on PC and they work well on the Switch. Like they're just Metroidvania games all over the place there. So I don't. I think it is that Lego Horizon scenario like you're saying, to where it's not the big AAA God of War, it's an offshoot God of War that could spark interest in the larger games that are only on PlayStation. So what if we, although on PC, it might spark interest in just going to Steam and buying the God of War game. But the idea being, hey, if they're on Switch or Switch 2 and they play this, they really like it, maybe they look into a PlayStation 5 or even 6 in the future, and dive into God of War, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, as I was playing it, I'm like, this might be a good Portal experience.
Radix says
Hey,
it's rated T. It is rated T. Thanks, Rad. What were you saying? It's a good Portal experience?
it might be good to play on Portal. It feels conducive to a portable environment, but based on like the sort of kinetic gameplay of how it might pace out later when I play more of it, and then maybe not. It really depends. Worth pointing out for the game, TC Carson, he is voicing as an adult Kratos. He's like narrating the story, which I think is super cool. So for like lore geeks on the game, like that's going to be like my fun for it. And what else was I going to say about this game?
Kind of reminds me of Dexter, the original Sin show, where they had old Dexter narrating for young Dexter. That's
Yeah, it's neat. I'm so far I'm like mostly positive about it, but got to put a lot more time into it.